Alright, welcome back to CalCast. Here we are in the wake of the latest update that has completely changed the game. The devs have been working on this for like nearly 2 years now, and finally we get to see the fruits of their labor. Very anticipated, and we've all been wanting this for quite a hell of a long time at this point, and that time has finally arrived. And unfortunately, JFL could not make it. Scheduling CalCast is kind of a nightmare, so we decided to go along with it anyway. But
yeah.
Starting off, last time that we did a CalCast, it wasn't even known yet that Brainstorm would exist. Like, we were still under the pretense that everything would be under the Sunken Sea update. So, for like, my first thing that I want to talk about is, like, the decision for specifically why Calamity decided to split it like this. What exactly was, like, the motivation for leading up to this, instead of just continuing to pack it all into SSO?
That decision actually came literally the day after the previous CalCast was recorded. And I think at the time, like, throughout December, there was a bit of turmoil in the team. And I think people realized that, like, the reason there was so much, like, internal turmoil was because nobody had any motivation to actually work on the Sunken Sea at all. And so it was just, like, grinding the team process to a complete halt. So I think at that moment, people were just like, we need to get rid of, like, we need to release everything that we have right now.
Otherwise, it would have been, like, another 6 months or something, right? At least.
Maybe even more than that.
Yeah, I heard that there was just a bit of chaos going on there. And, like, considering everything that happened last year, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
From all the time that you've been implementing stuff, there's definitely bugs lurking that you, like, stuff that you never thought of in interacting in strange ways. And, like, waiting even longer would mean that whenever you did to finally release it, the inevitable onslaught of bugs would be even greater if you were to, like, release it in smaller chunks. Then, like, smaller chunks would make it at least more manageable and less unlikely that for there to be, like, too much ridiculous stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This is never happening again. There's never going to be an update this large ever again.
I wonder where I've heard that before. But yeah, I do hope that, like, now that they've had this experience with just, like, not having anything big for so long now, that they at least hopefully realize that it probably is better to just do smaller, more frequent updates rather than massive, infrequent ones, which is honestly kind of the thing I want to do for CalCast moving forward, is have smaller but more frequent episodes of this. Yeah, it's just, in general, nicer to have more feedback that comes, like, more regularly, rather than, you know, having so much be criticized all at once and having it be, like, completely overwhelming and such. Something that I found that genuinely surprised me that I was not expecting was the fact that you announced a release window as well, because I know normally Calamity doesn't like to announce release windows, which, I mean, makes sense, obviously, because that just puts more pressure on the developers to, like, get it out in time, and if there's, like, some major delay, it just makes people will obviously be more disappointed than if you had never announced a release window at all. So I'm kind of curious why you decided to give that release window.
So I don't know how many people actually know this, but that release window was actually a collab with Relogic with 1.4.5.
Really?
Yeah, I think Oz, like, got into contact with Loki about it, and they decided to, like, collab the release windows together, and, like, the trailers as well.
That makes sense in hindsight.
Yeah, to, like, make sure they don't overlap at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I would expect them to, like, try to stagger a bit more, if that makes sense, because, like, I mean, they released within, what, like, 2 weeks of each other?
It was planned to be exactly 10 days.
To me, it just seems kind of weird to, like, not give a little bit more buffer time so people can, like, fully enjoy 1.4.5 for, like, a year or so, or not a year, a month, and then, like, only then have time to, like, move on to Calamity. Because I feel like mod players like me, like, we go back to vanilla for a couple days, and then, you know, we do what there is to do, and then move on. Yeah, so to me it just felt kind of strange, but yeah, I had absolutely no idea that it was with any collaboration, voice crack, any collaboration with Relogic at all. So speaking of 1.4.5, then what's both of your like, just general reactions to it?
Most of my reaction has kind of just been from reading the changelog. I too have not played actually much of 1.4.5, and of course, when you're a modder, you read through the changelog and your first reaction is just, like, knee-jerk balance reactions, like the roller skates.
Something that I always wonder about, like, whenever there's a new vanilla update is, like, if there's anything that the modders are really worried about. Not in terms of just balance, but in terms of, like, this will be game-breaking and we need to completely overhaul this system.
Yeah, kind of like maybe some of the whips as well.
That Moonlord whip for one.
It's a post-game weapon, so
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, it's always going to given that post-game weapons are going to need to be balanced by mods because, I mean, vanilla doesn't have to balance around them at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with shadow spec weapons, so...
Yeah, it's just like, you know, balance doesn't matter, so who cares if they're super overpowered? Just don't complain whenever Calamity inevitably gives them a justifiable nerf.
Yes, please. I mean, at least Vanilla also agreed with us with removing whip stacking, so that's good. We don't have to worry about people complaining about that, I guess.
Instead, people can be playing Theory logic about removing whip stacking to begin with.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not too fond of the removal of whip stacking, just because I don't really like the idea of lowering the skill ceiling without really, like, for something that doesn't really impact most players, I feel. Like, just removing the skill ceiling just for the sake of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that most players probably weren't whip stacking, and so I'm not too fond of just getting rid of it, because, like, it doesn't impact the majority of them. Like, I mean, yeah, it's kind of strong, but at the same time, like, you need to have a good amount of skill to be able to properly utilize it. But I'm personally not too torn up about it because I don't think I've ever done, like, a real summoner playthrough ever since whips were added, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I have never done a summoner playthrough, so...
I think for me a summoner playthrough was, like, the second playthrough I did ever, like, playing Calamity, and then I never played it again. Like, that was the playthrough before my Revengeance no-hit playthrough, back in, like, 2020.
That being said, I am doing a multiplayer playthrough with some friends for Calamity, and I'm actually doing a summoner run, along with here right now, trying to do a summoner run, just to experience the glory that is whips.
I also wanted to mention that kind of the direction that Vanilla is going in, to me, it kind of feels like Vanilla might be feeling boxed in, if you will, by mods. As in, like, it feels like, just watching what they're, like, adding to the game, it feels like they're not really sure what they can add without really... Like, they can't really add anything that would upset the modded balance too much and such.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, that might also be one of the key reasons why they might never expand post-Moonlord. Even though I think at this point there's, like, so much stuff to do pre-Moonlord that I think that purely from the perspective of Vanilla, it kind of would make sense to maybe expand beyond there. But at the same time, like, if they were to do that, then, like, oh my god, so many mods would be in just chaos.
Yeah.
And so I think that's also maybe why they're doing stuff like adding so many secret seeds, is because that's, like, fairly innocent stuff that doesn't really impact the mod landscape all that much.
Yeah, it's just novel content that, like, doesn't take much effort to do.
But at the same time, it does kind of make me wonder what their long-term strategy is, because, I mean, it doesn't seem like they have any intentions of stopping development of Terraria anytime soon, so I'm just kind of curious what their long-term plans are then.
Well, it doesn't really seem like any of their major updates have had any sort of defined scope, so I don't know what they're really planning on doing either.
It's mostly been collaborations.
What did 1.4.5 even have in terms of collabs? I mean, I know there was the Dead Cells stuff, but, like, what did that actually, like, materialize to?
They had Dead Cells and Pal World.
But, like, what was actually in the game?
The Dead Cells collab, there's a vanity set, there's, like, 4 new weapons, there's, like, a vanity jar you can put items in. I know they teased the boss, but they never added that, I think.
Like, I look at the current update, and I think, yeah, it's cool, but, I just kind of move on quickly, because it's like, what else really is there to do?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's the achievements and such, which I already have done a handful of those, but thinking like, oh, that's cool, and then moving on.
Yeah.
I wonder if Relogic is just kind of content with that, just kind of, like, fine with them basically being a platform, if you will, like, not really being too much of the wants to implement stuff that drives the community anymore, but more just being, like I said, like, the platform, because obviously people play modded a lot.
Well, I think they kind of realized that when they made T-Mod an official DLC.
Yeah, exactly, but, like, I'm more just meaning in the sense of, like, they're fine fully accepting that role of being passive and not adding anything too consequential to Terraria anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
Like any other major bosses and such. I just really struggle to think about what else they could realistically add by this point that wouldn't screw over mods at some point. Because again, like, a post-Moonlord boss would be cool and such, but at the same time, again, it's just too much. They know that it would be too overburdening on the modders, so they just presumably don't. At least I assume that's why they don't. We were talking about Summoner. Been quite a buggy mess as of lately, wouldn't you say?
How many bug reports are there going to be for that?
Enough.
Yeah, 500 until, like, trust us, guys. The devs are aware that Summoner is currently bugged.
500 bug reports.
Yep.
Right, but yeah, and you said earlier the cause is like still unknown. Why?
There's been like 5 or 6 different leads, so it hasn't really amounted to anything substantial. So
Imagine if it's like something like stupidly complicated, like the specific way that memory is allocated or something silly like that.
that would be so awful.
Yeah, just like something that's like so unbelievably unnested and so hard to control that it's just like,
Either that or it's the simplest thing ever. No in between with bugs.
Yeah.
either something that is worthy of a Nobel Prize whenever you do eventually solve it, or just something that you can do in 2 seconds and be done with it forever.
Yeah.
I guess in computing it would be a Turing Award or whatever. So we haven't really talked too much about Brainstorm itself. Do we want to maybe like start with the most controversial stuff first? Okay, so I actually have a list of stuff that that I think has been pretty controversial. So I just want to start with probably the Ink Shield components again. So like, just as a reminder, like Asgard's Valor does not require Ink Shield anymore.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not all that hard to really get Asgard's Valor anymore. But also, Asgard's Valor was nerfed a bit, wasn't it?
Yes. The RAM has a shorter window.
The Elasian Aegis was nerfed as well, right?
All 3 of the shields, they got like defense nerfs, and their RAM windows were decreased.
Because I can say that like I used the Elasian Aegis a while ago, and it really didn't feel nerfed, even though I knew it technically was.
It's still like a 14 frame window, I think, so it's still a pretty gracious window.
Yeah, it definitely still feels good to use and such. It doesn't feel like they nerfed it in the ground or made it completely unusable. I haven't used Asgard's Valor, but I assume it's probably in a similar boat. But I do imagine that they're probably still going to be used a lot, while the boss meta still leans towards those RAM dashes, which will continue to exist until the devs get around to like reworking all the bosses to be less RAM dash centric.
Yes, absolutely.
So in terms of other controversial changes, Golden Fishing Rod no longer dropped by Angler as well. It now drops at like a fixed time in the Angler fishing quest thing.
Yeah, the angler fishing quest is still fixed in terms of what you get. So that's actually it's not too difficult, because I know another thing that they changed was cell phone components. I think it's a little bit more difficult to get them.
The fish finder components have specific quests where they're guaranteed drops.
Yeah, which unfortunately means you can't just farm Desert Scorch to... If you have no interest in fishing, you can't just farm Desert Scorch to get those fish finder components.
Which is a very intentional decision.
I'm personally not too fond of it, just because, I mean, the shell phone is a pretty nice thing to have. And like all the other stuff doesn't really require... Well, I guess the conches do, but...
Ideally, you're still going to be getting the components to the shell phone, even like... If you pay attention to the fishing quests, then yeah, you're gonna get them by the time you get to Skeletron, which is the earliest you can get them anyway.
I guess it'll kind of be more like a needing to develop the habit of checking Angler as well. Because, like, I mean, I know that, like, I don't really do the Angler anymore. Like, I don't mind fishing in general, but I think the Angler's quest can be very tedious. Especially when it's, like, something like, you know, fish in the underground tundra in pre-hard mode, for example. Just annoying to set up in pre-hard mode. I mean, later you have more time for it and such, so it's not really a big deal, but that's why I'm not too fond of the Angler, and not super thrilled with needing to do his quests in order to just finish off the shell phone, but it's probably just more of a matter of habit. On down the list, probably the most controversial one, Rod of Discord no longer sold from the Wizard. But last time I know that you mentioned that you were planning on increasing its drop rate as well as adding back the recipe, but adding back the recipe was scrapped, and now the only way to get it is from the Chaos Elementals.
Yes. And I know the drop rate got a pretty substantial increase. It's like 1%, I think, yeah.
It's 2% as long as you're an expert or above, and it's only 1% in normal mode, but for just as a reminder, in vanilla, it's 1 in 500. So it literally got 10 times as much, like it's 10 times as likely to drop from any individual Chaos Elemental. It's not nearly as nasty to grind as it was, and PSA, you do not need to build an underground farm for it. Zerg Potion with the Bloody Mary, possibly on a Death Mode Blood Moon too, and you should be able to get it pretty quickly.
Yeah, my friend didn't even do that, and he managed to get it pretty easy, so
That's also twice as common as it is in the Celebration Seed, isn't it? It's like 1 in 100 in it. So yeah, it's significantly easier to get than it is in vanilla. The Cosmolite.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not many people liked that one.
I guess it's kind of a given just because no one likes needing to sleep in a bed for however long. Just to be able to fight the mech bosses again, especially if you're like struggling with them. But at the very least, they did add a earlier version of the Cosmolite back, which... what's it called again? We have cheat sheets so we can...
Bakadon?
Bakadon, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, which gives, like, the time freeze.
Yeah.
Which I think is nice.
It's basically built specifically so that you can fight the mech bosses for significantly longer.
And it's also worth noting that like the mech bosses are kind of the only boss that this really matters for. I guess Empress too, but...
Yeah, most of the Calamity boss time limits were removed in Brainstorm, so... Like CalClone, Astrum Deus, Astrum Aureus.
Oh, they don't rage during the day anymore?
Yeah, no, they don't anymore.
Do they still enrage outside their respective biomes?
Well, Aureus's was, that he only enraged at daytime if he was outside the infection, and since he doesn't have the daytime anymore, he just doesn't have an enrage anymore, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's convenient then. Although honestly, I would probably still recommend fighting at night just so they can see the projectiles easier and such. I noticed this especially with Cryogen, how his projectiles are very, very, very hard to see during the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another PSA, you can use Aether Monolith to make it look like it's night, even if it's not night. So the fact that you can't instantly make it night whenever you want anymore isn't as big of a deal.
I'm glad about that monolith, actually. It's also very pretty, so...
Yeah, Aether Monolith is such a... I don't know if Relogic intended for it to be as useful as it is, just for general utility, but it is really good. I guess there's also the Onyx key was nerfed as well. It's... Actually, I can cheat in and show what the speed is now. This one I think is pretty justified, just because of how insanely overpowered it was.
Yeah, it was kind of busted.
That's minecart. But yeah, you can see here, it's like, it's a good bit faster than mining regularly, but obviously it's not the... You can't very easily dig massive trenches across the entire world with it now. One thing I wish it had though was like maybe a bit of a hover, so that you can more easily cross gaps to keep lines straight. Like right here for example. Like if I just walk over here, it's just gonna fall down. But it would be nice to be able to like maintain this altitude for a little bit. Other than that, it's a justified nerf, I'd say. And you don't really need that massive of an excavation in pre-hard mode anymore. Well, I mean, you never did to begin with, but now there's even less reason to do so. I guess the last one I have on the list is that, not necessarily something that was really planned for next update, but Dog's Resprite officially being confirmed to be scrapped. So just to reiterate, Heartplup left the team like a few months ago. And part of that includes that she will not be finishing the super big dog sprite that was teased, which is kind of unfortunate, but I can kind of get why, because I mean, a lot of the developers have said that it would be very unwieldy to work with.
Yes, that sprite is absolutely massive.
Yeah, I know Doze has made invoked Star God to try to utilize that, but even then, it's like Star God isn't nearly as big as that dog sprite would have been.
It would have been very clunky to get it to move around in like a natural way.
I don't think it would have been impossible to do, but it probably was more effort than it would have been worth, especially since the sprite was unfinished, then someone else would have also had to finish it first. But yeah, it's still an interesting could have been, I'd say, even if ultimately it didn't come to fruition. Okay, I think that's all I have in terms of controversial changes. Do you have any other controversial changes that you'd like to mention or explain?
Besides the Reddit exploding?
Oh.
I mean, that's not really a controversial change, it's just Reddit being Reddit.
It's just Reddit being Reddit, yeah.
But I do hope that, or at least I would expect the developers to realize that trying to please everyone is impossible.
It is, yeah.
Oh, we realized that a while ago.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure, because, like, yeah, it's obviously some people are going to be unhappy with everything, no matter how hard you try, which is, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that they're being rude or anything, it's just that you can't please everyone. Although people on Reddit are being quite rude, but that's beside the point. Reddit kind of brings out the worst in people, I'd say.
Yeah, it does.
As well as bringing the worst kind of people. But anyway, I wouldn't really take too much criticism from the people being ridiculously unreasonable. But something I forgot to mention is if you are upset by any of these quality of life nerfs, one of the developers, like almost immediately after Brainstorm released, made a mod to re-add all that stuff. Which to me just sounds like free download farming, but hey, who's the judge? Hey, it's the guy. Team.
I'm kind of just making houses, so like I just immediately was like, I'm just gonna happily make some.
I'm just digging a hole because or a elevator, because that's kind of what I always do in CalCast, because it's something nice and brainless that I can do in the background while talking about stuff.
Brainless? Like...
Brainless?
Alright, do we want to talk about that now?
Yeah, we do have a crimson right next to the ocean that I'm building, so we can probably like make a little arena and actually showcase it.
Yep.
I think that would be interesting.
Oh my god.
What?
The Shimmer Shrine, generated right on top of the Crimson Chasm.
Oh, so that's what
Yeah.
it is. Shimmer Shrine. Okay.
We should probably make it so it can, like, generate with a bit of horizontal leniency.
I somehow have
Okay,
managed to not research wood platforms yet. I'm guessing both of you have fought New Brain?
I have fought New Brine. New Brine? New Brain, yes.
Yes, many times.
I guess I could give my thoughts then. In my personal opinion, New Brain is a very good fight, but a bit overtuned. There are a couple attacks that I do think are just a bit too far for where they are, like in pre-hard mode and such, but overall I do think it's like 50 octillion times better than Brain of Cthulhu has ever been in Calamity.
Well, the bar is in the abyss, so...
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like several octillion instead of, say, several quintillion instead.
Biggie will always be open to feedback. They're constantly tinkering with it, like, even continuously through the hot fixes, so...
I'd say, in my personal opinion, probably the most egregious thing that I noticed was the telefrags. That he can still do them. I don't think they were patched in the most in 2.1.1, were they?
They were not, no.
But yeah, I just find it kind of funny how like they're like it's not Brain of Cthulhu if it doesn't have some sort of telefrag attack. I do like all the variety with creepers. How like the creepers they don't feel like they're just along for the ride. Prior to this rework, they felt just like target dummies basically. They don't really do anything.
Now they're, like, coordinating attacks together.
Yeah, and like they actually feel like they were part of a coherently designed boss, which is, you know, a pretty big step in the right direction. Although I do think they die a bit too quickly, though. They can barely get like 1 or 2 attacks in, and they're already dead.
I've suggested to, like, make there be less creepers with more health. I'll see what Big E wants to do with that.
Or maybe have like a couple more phases with them.
Maybe, as well, that's also an option.
Also, something I discovered that you can do is you can like skip the second creeper phase. I don't know if that's intentional, but you can do it if you do a lot of damage.
Yes, that's intentional.
Okay. Another attack that I mentioned that got nerfed was the Blood Rain attack, like one with the Ichor, one with the little Ichor shots and then the blood coming in from the sides. That got nerfed in duration, right?
Yes. It lasts shorter now.
Yeah, because I do agree it kind of went on for too long. It's very tight for pre-hard mode and it just goes on for like so long. But yeah, I definitely commend Big E for listening to feedback and making appropriate adjustments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It does seem like most people are generally happy about the rework, at least judging by my comment section.
Oh yeah. I've seen way more positive feedback.
I'm very happy to see that too.
Because like yeah, if Calamity's gonna have this reputation for being a mod or with a ton of bosses, the bosses better be good. So they definitely are going in the right direction. Hopefully this isn't too buggy in multiplayer.
I think, did they fix the bug where it doesn't drop the bags?
Big E attempted to fix that.
I have the Brain of Cthulhu bags researched anyway, so it's fine if it doesn't drop them. But I mainly just hope that the bosses or that the boss doesn't break like in terms of its AI or anything.
Big E did do rigorous multiplayer testing, so
I'm really glad at all of most of the fixes that they've done in multiplayer. And of course, there's always going to be like more of them.
Are we fighting on the surface or are we fighting here? Because I've been making a big arena on the surface.
What would be better?
I mean, I always fight on the surface. Doesn't even enrage on the surface anymore.
Let's not.
oh hey, you dropped the vitamins. Okay.
They drop in pre-hard mode, right? So
Yeah, that was made as a compensation for some of the recipe removals.
Prior to the update, a lot of the Ank-Shield components were craftable, like in pre-hard mode.
Actually, we could just destroy Crimson Hearts, couldn't we?
You know, yeah, I guess since we're in multiplayer and like the odds of actually losing, as in all of us dying at once, is basically 0 because multiplayer makes the game a lot easier, so we should be fine.
it does, yeah.
This also let us show off the extended summon animation.
Oh right, yeah.
That is mildly annoying for no hits.
Well, it gets shorter if you use Bloody Spine, so...
It was taking a long time for me when I was trying to get my no-hit on it. So I mentioned the Brain of Cthulhu I think is a bit over-tuned, but like, to put it in perspective, the Devourer of Gods took me about 3 hours to no-hit in death mode with, and I did it like immediately after the update came out. Brain of Cthulhu took me like 3 days and like 11 hours and like 500 attempts or something. Like he feels a lot harder. Like it's kind of funny how this pre-hard mode boss is just like so much harder than Dog is.
Yeah, I remember seeing in the Discord, because I've been having to deal with that because I'm on the Discord. I noticed some people were complaining about how the bosses were easier, and I'm just sitting here like,
Well, I'd sure hope that the master mode bosses are easier.
Well, I mean, to be fair, some people, not many people, but some people did like Master Death. Those people are weird, but they did exist.
Very select few. Yeah, there'll always be those people.
yeah.
We don't have to cater to those people.
Yeah, and like I was mentioning earlier, it's impossible to cater to everyone. Okay, are we ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay.
We're ready?
But yeah, like the current difficulty of Death mode is like Death mode is now in between where Expert and Master Death mode was, because it has like the stat loaded Master mode, but like the more or less the AI of Expert mode, of Expert Death. Okay, I'm being targeted now. But yeah, that being said, though, like Death mode definitely leans more towards Expert Death's difficulty at the moment, because Death hasn't had enough time to really fully develop into its own, like have its own identity yet from Revengeance, because it never really did have the opportunity to do that. Since Master Death has been, since Revengeance and Expert have been very similar for a very long time. But yeah, I assume as time goes on, they will proceed to get more distinct from each other.
Other way. I got stuck.
Oh boy, what is going on there? Okay.
Okay, so it wasn't just me.
There's second phase. Okay.
I got one army.
In typical.
Well, that's interesting. He's firing the blood shots not at like parallel to the ground.
Doing my best here.
Oh right.
I'm probably going to die.
Well, he didn't, and that's what matters.
Okay, perfect. Oh, bad stew drop. Okay.
All right, so that was Brain of Cthulhu. Do we want to talk about the Devourer then?
Sure. Yeah.
So, like I mentioned, I did fight the Devourer, and I can definitely say that he is like infinitesimally better than he has ever been in the past. 'Cause,
Yes.
Like I've complained a lot about how much I hated pre 2.1 Devourer, and I do genuinely still believe that pre 2.1 Devourer was the worst boss in Calamity. Sure, there may have been worse boss fights, but in terms of like how important Dog was and how bad he was, I think he was the worst. But now he's not. Now he's actually good. Something that doesn't feel embarrassing to the mod and to modded Terraria as a whole. Like something that a lot of people have said, and something that I honestly agree with, is that New Dog kind of feels like a tuned down version of Infernum Dog. He's still generally aggressive. He still feels like he's actually trying to kill you, which is one of the main things I've always liked about Infernum Dog, is the fact that he's like actually aggressive. That's not like he spends most of his time, fucking off exploring the universe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like New Dog definitely still manages to capture that feeling of like this massive serpent is trying to devour you, but also without being as over the top oppressive as most people tend to think Infernum Dog is. But for reference, I do genuinely like Infernum Dog, and so I think that like this is still good. I do agree that it is like Infernum Dog, and I already like Infernum Dog, so that adds to my personal enjoyment of it. Although I acknowledge that most people don't really like Infernum Dog, but even they tend to agree that New Dog is good.
It definitely wasn't designed with Infernum Dog in mind. It just kind of happened to end up being the same thing.
Yeah, it feels like very, very similar in the sense of like having phases where like Dog is just, charging you rapidly-ish, and then, more passive phases with fireballs and lasers, and then he has the teleportation. His desperation phase, I think, is literally identical. I mean, again, I'm not complaining, but it's just kind of funny how it ended up being pretty similar. I also think it's kind of interesting how the laser walls kind of got easier and harder simultaneously. The lasers are no longer projectiles. They don't take time to travel from point A to point B. Instead, they're hit scan now, which just means that like it's telegraphed, and then the area that's telegraphed gets like damage dealt to it. It makes it, like I said, both easier and harder simultaneously. It's easier in the sense that you don't have to worry about lingering projectiles if you want to say rod out or something, because I know when you rod out, like getting hit by the same projectile again later is kind of a threat. but that's no longer there. But it's also a bit harder because you have like less overall time to react to the telegraphs. With the older version of Dog, whenever the telegraph happened, you would have like obviously the time when the telegraph disappeared, a little bit of time before the lasers were fired, and then some time as the lasers were being fired until they actually reached you. But now you don't have that anymore, and it's just like you have just you have the telegraph, you have a short window beforehand, and then it just instantly hits. So it's still, it's a bit faster, but it's also, you don't have to worry about the lingering lasers anymore. I was struggling with the Phase 2 laser walls because of how fast the telegraph is, and also because in Phase 2 there's a very big purple laser that like is shot like straight down the middle, basically, which forces you to move.
Yeah, it's aimed at the player's position.
Yeah.
Yeah, it forces you to move a lot. Being able to move a lot and then being able to steady yourself after moving in time, like all within the very narrow range of the telegraph, makes it pretty challenging, I'd say. Not like unreasonably difficult, but like it's tough, I will say. So I found it personally harder, but I have seen people generally enjoying it more.
For sure.
And I also do like the lead in to that attack as well. It feels a lot more natural with the actual slither.ioing you first.
Yeah. Instead of just rapidly grinding to a halt.
Yeah, because that's something I've always... Yeah. That's something I really didn't like about Old Dog either, is just the fact that like the laser walls just felt slapped onto the rest of the fight. It didn't form a coherent picture.
Yeah.
But now they definitely do feel correctly, like, intertwined into the fight.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of words from me, but that's my personal thoughts on New Dog and why I think New Dog is good. And Dog also passes on the title of worst boss in the mod to Exomex. So...
don't worry, they'll fix Exomex, and then we'll have a new worst boss in the mod.
Although, in my opinion, I think Exos are like the next... are the only remaining important and bad boss in the mod. I guess maybe Calclone.
Yeah.
But Calclone's got a bit better.
Calclone got tweaked, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be reworked at some point, so...
Yarn will always be controversial as well.
I mean, I do agree that Yarn is kind of a bit easy once you get him down.
Yeah, he's a very consistent boss.
I just realized I never really asked for either of you, if any of you have any input, like any more further input on New Dog.
As for me, obviously, I had the pleasure of fighting the New Dog dozens of times during development. It also helped me to weed out some funny behaviors. For example, the you know how in death mode the final phase laser walls are the rapid fire burst? That used to be way harder in dev. And I had to nerf that.
One other thing I forgot to mention is Dog really doesn't need the Elysian Aegis anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I mean, like, it definitely, I will say it feels better to just have the Aegis, but it certainly is not necessary. Like, you can just basically kite Dog and then just move off to the side and he won't, it's like, snap onto you like Thanatos does.
Yeah, he really doesn't even need a dash in general, if you know what you're doing.
But yeah, I will still attest that it is nice to have it, but it is very far from being necessary.
Especially with the Void Sash line buffs as well.
I'm gearing up to fight Skeletron.
Okay.
Which is going to be Expert Skeletron, because, yeah.
I do like the new generation for the Queen Bee area.
What's different about it?
It's like a large hexagon.
Yeah, no, that's new in Brainstorm.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of funny how many people in Calmain are like asking, hey, is there any guide for this class for this game mode yet? And the answer is no. Like, there are no guides. Like,
There are no guides.
guides require time to make, like a lot of time, especially the stuff on the Zeb's page on the wiki.
Class setups is the lowest possible priority on the wiki.
They are still trying to fix everything. Because there was how many weapon reworks we had? Many.
Well over 100. That's just
Well over
reworks.
Yeah, and that's not counting stuff like rebalancing and stuff, which is obviously really hard as well.
Just for the Drayden Labs too, which all got completely different generation layouts. Which are very pretty, I have to say. I do like the new ones.
But yeah, on top of that, and then all the rebalancing and stuff, it's there's just so much other stuff that goes into maintaining the wiki, and there's so many weapons that need to be tested before you can give like a genuine endorsement for certain weapons. So just have some patience. Just test on your own time. See what weapons are good for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best weapon. You just need to find something that works. That's my genuine advice to anyone who's not sure what weapons they get. It's just get a few weapons, see which ones do okay, and then just use those. Class setups can still be okay if you just want to know of a couple options. But yeah, long story short, no, there aren't any guides, and there probably won't be for a while. I also don't trust any YouTuber claiming to have a guide, because they are just either making bullshit up or just taking stuff right off the class F's page on the wiki, which is for last update. On the subject of rebalancing, do we want to talk about the Starbeam Rye incident? I mean, I think the Starbeam Rye incident is like a perfect example of why it's so hard to get any balancing done in this game, and why there's always so much unbalanced stuff in Calamity. So the Starbeam Rye incident is the kind of thing that, like, it's a good example of the fact that video game playtesting is really, really hard, and like the kind of thing that you would usually have like actual professionals who like that's their entire day job is just testing stuff. But I guess long story short, Starbeam Rye was reworked to weapons that have very high mana use, like a very high mana cost, did a lot of extra damage.
It's like a formula that's based on mana cost and use time.
So basically, long story short, is like weapons that had very high mana use, got extreme buffs, and like I don't think anyone anticipated just how extreme the buffs could get, because like you could kill Exomex in like less than 2 minutes with them.
I think it's like primarily weapons with like wildly different use times and use animations.
I know it was Phantasmal Fury that
Was the poster child.
Yeah, that's what I made my video on. I think I incorrectly stated exactly what the condition was that caused it to be so overpowered, but and then along with Starbeam Rye, there was also the Blazing Star incident.
That was a bug with the S-Cal Arena, yeah.
Yeah, that was more funny and felt more like a bug rather than something that was just an intended mechanic being used in an unintended way.
Yeah.
So basically, the way that that bug worked, I guess I'll show it on screen, is whenever you threw the Blazing Star, and it hit something that was outside of S-Cal's arena, it would like repeatedly hit the target over and over and over again for tons and tons and tons of damage, because it would just keep ricocheting over and over again, because it's supposed to bounce off walls, but the entire outside of S-Cal's arena like counted as a wall. So defense was like generally nerfed across the board, right?
Yeah.
A lot of accessories no longer give defense or don't give as much defense as they used to, but boss damage was also like pretty heavily nerfed as well, right?
Yes.
What exactly was the reasoning for this?
Just to like flatten it more towards vanilla damage, and also to make it set Revengeance and Death didn't increase damage anymore.
Okay, so Death doesn't have the damage staplet of Master?
So now Revengeance is just expert damage and Death is master damage. It's like no more having to balance 5 different damage values.
Yeah, it just sounds like such a nightmare, especially when, like, how extreme...
Most of that was the fault of the horse, so...
Oh god, that's so funny. My skeletons are just, like, vibrating.
From Staff of Necro-Osteocytes?
Yeah.
Was that nerfed, by the way?
No, it wasn't.
Wow, that's shocking. Like, that can, like, kill a wall in, like, 15 seconds.
I mean, in its current state, it's kind of unbalanceable, if I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, yeah, you are right, because, like, it's you need to have an arena that actually caters to it in order to properly shred wall with it. I briefly touched on this, but I didn't really go too in-depth, but the alcohols, like, all of them got changed in some way, right?
Yes, they did.
All of them except Everclear and Old Fashioned.
I do like how they have generally more unique effects across the board.
They're all made with, like, different specialist effects, yeah. Like, they're not just... You can just slap them onto any build and it'll work.
In my opinion, the most interesting one was, like, Whiskey, which kind of acts like a Gemtech light.
I want to see more of that too.
One question I realized I forgot to ask is the dev team dreading needing to make portraits for the Calamity NPCs?
I mean, the port's still months away, so... And I don't think it'll be too much work considering it's just 2 portraits for each NPC. I think the bigger issue is the fact that we still don't have shimmered NPC sprites.
Oh, they're still not working on those? Okay. I know I made designs for them, but
Yeah, the designs have just been kind of rotting because just nobody wants to make the sprites, I guess.
I know we had Bandit, like, partially done, and then...
As far as I'm aware, the only NPC that ever got a shimmered sprite was the Drunk Princess.
No shit. Excuse my language.
And well, that's not getting used anymore.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
I imagine that, like, actual NPCs, like, must be a lot more annoying to, like, make sprites for, because you have to, like... There's so many animations for all the different things they have to do, whereas with the, one for their normal thing and one for the, their shimmered.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it'd be funny if, like, they, like, changed their, expression based on mood, but that would like make modding like exponentially like more obnoxious.
That would be so much sprite work for no reason.
And then like different levels of bloodiness as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nope, they still smile at you with the exact same smile even if they're at 1 HP and about to die. Yeah, I do like the how the like planetoid drain lab is now more expansive, like more extensive in the actual planetoid itself instead of just being a thing around the core, how it like extends in all 4 cardinal directions.
Yeah, I do have one of those, one of seeking mechanisms, so that's also a change too that we hadn't brought up. Power cells. Certain weapons, I don't think use them anymore now, don't they?
No arsenal weapons use them anymore, and now the only use of power cells is specifically the seeking mechanisms and the decryption, and that's it.
Yeah, which is nice. I was surprised to see that.
I've mentioned this already, but like I just don't understand why this power cells even still exist at this point. Like, what do they add to the game?
They really don't add much at all.
Yeah, it's just an arbitrary time gate. We already talked about this last time, but it feels like a band-aid fix.
Whenever we get around to reworking the rest of the arsenal, I think that's when we can finally make the decision about what we'll do with power cells.
Yeah, because like in my personal opinion, I just don't think they made gameplay interesting in any way. No love lost if they were sent to the Adios dimension. I mean, at least now it's like less possible to go the entire game without knowing that they exist, because now the fact that Aureus and Lightbringer Goliath both require you to have the appropriate schematics researched. I also noticed that there's a new title screen, which looks pretty slick.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Who made that, by the way?
I remember.
I know Mihai made the original concept art, but I think it was it Dia? No.
I would have to check back in the dev server to see.
Yeah.
I'll put it on screen. Looks pretty sweet. It's yet another Yahrim teaser in official Calamity artwork.
Yeah.
Feels like we haven't had any like official Yahrim artwork in a while.
I made some, and people ignored it. So.
I mean, I was gonna say, yeah, I thought you were the last. You were the last to make official, like, from the developer, official.
Yeah.
Yahrim art. I thought.
Yeah, and then Mihai trashed it. I'm not sure if it's ever going to be used anyway. So. Oh well. I know Dia made some really cool Yahrim sprites too. That were pretty cool.
Is that the one with him like pulling out his sword or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, that really famous one. That's like the main one that people think of when they think of like a Yahrim sprite. I am kind of curious. So like now that we have the all the stuff that the developers have been working on for the past couple years with the Brainstorm out, like do you know if now there's going to just be purely focusing on Sunken Sea, or is there still like another update or two of the like these smaller non-Sunken Sea updates planned first?
I'm gonna be honest. I think that most devs at this point have zero motivation to like really work on the Sunken Sea at this point, after the debacle that it's been.
Yeah, I heard that there was a little bit of like, I would say chaos, past couple of weeks, trying to figure out like what to do.
There's gonna be a meeting about like where you want to go next, with like what like dedicated content you want to focus on for the next update. So
I assume by you mean the devs, like as a whole?
yeah, just the devs.
That's following the suggestion I mentioned last time with like people sitting down and deciding what they want to do first.
A lot of the plans for the Sunken Sea is stuff that like the current team wasn't really involved in. It's multiple-year-old plans, and we're just kind of following through with it because that was the plans, and we never like questioned why are we doing this, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, from the looks of things, it looks like you weren't.
Yeah, like the scope just felt so menacing that we kept getting distracted doing other stuff, and that's how you end up with an update like Bountiful Harvest or Brainstorm.
Yeah, because you would really rather work on the things that, you know, you can do that are a little bit easier than the monster that is the Sunken Sea update.
So like the takeaway for this is that like there is a non-zero chance that the next update is not Sunken Sea. It's like some other update as well.
I think it's far greater than non-zero.
I would not mind seeing the direction being not just like a mix, basically, because, you know, there's also the daunting task of fixing up the cracks as well, and updating the astral biome, and God knows what else.
One thing I do want to check, though, is that the idea of just scrapping the update altogether is off the table, right? Like, it definitely will happen, just at some point, right?
Yeah, I'll probably just go into hiatus. It might look different, than like what has been shown in the past, but the Sunken Sea will get reworked at some point.
Yeah, because I'm mainly just thinking about like all the sprites that have already been made, especially the like critters and such. A lot of those have been made already, and I can imagine that the animators would not be very happy seeing all that work go to waste. It definitely has to occur at some point, but it does seem like there is a, you know, really reasonable chance that it's like even further in the future than anyone had anticipated, but
Yeah.
But personally, I'm not going to complain, because the longer it takes the Sunken Sea update to come out, the longer it takes for Calamity to end, and the longer it takes for Calamity to end, the longer it is until Calamity dies. Like, I'm all in favor of Calamity moving at a very slow pace.
But yeah, no, I think it's far more likely that going forward it's going to be smaller updates with a smaller scope coming out more frequently.
Yeah, you said that to avoid all the insane scope creep of Brainstorm. Do you have any idea of like what the team really wants to like focus on next?
Not quite yet. I know you're gonna like make a dev poll about what people were specifically interested in working on next.
But I am also kind of curious what would happen if when this dev poll is done and like a lot of people want to do a lot of different things. Because I mean, I've mentioned that like I think that's been something that's held Calamity back in the past.
You start with the stuff that the most people want interest in. And it's possible that some of the scopes are things that only really need 2 or 3 people to be done, so it's possible that multiple scopes can be done at once.
And I know you said you want more frequent updates, but do you have like an idea of like what that frequency might actually be? Like 1 or 2 updates a year or something?
I wouldn't want to put the team on any sort of rigid schedule, so I can't say.
Okay, do you want to change gears and start talking about the weapons then? Because I can't really think of anything immediately. Okay, so what's the total number of reworked weapons again this update?
I do not know the exact number, but it's probably around 120-ish.
And that's not counting rebalances, that's like purely like thrown out and completely reworked from the ground up?
Yes.
Probably get some target dummies. PSA, target dummies are absolutely terrible for weapon testing, like seeing if weapons are good, but they are good for specifically seeing how weapons behave, which is exactly what we are going to be using them for. Do we have the merchant somewhere?
I have super dummies.
You have super? Oh yeah, we can just cheat stuff in. I keep forgetting that. Like the whole point is cheat stuff. Just cheat stuff in.
Well, for starters, there's the whole entire Bladecrest Oathsword line getting reworked.
All right, so I guess we'll start with that, and that's the wrong place to look for it.
So now that throws a blade, and if there are more than 3 blades stuck in an enemy at once, it launches out the sword, and that can hit multiple enemies at once. Then you have the Old Lord Claymore, which now performs a very slow, very powerful swing. Which also has like the hidden Easter egg interaction with these, that you can launch them out as a teaser for the upgrade in the line, Forbidden Oathblade.
And Exalted. Is that like spinning animation as well?
Yeah, when it launches out the blades.
Yep. And then what's the one above that? It's Devil's Devastation, I think.
Yes.
Yep, Devastation. This is right click.
Yes.
Yep. Juicy 17,000 damage.
Oh, sounds don't play on other clients, so gotta fix that.
Yeah, speaking of Old Lord Claymore, they changed the way how it like drops, right? It's like 4% below before Eye of Cthulhu, then like 25% afterwards, right?
After the evil bosses, but yeah.
Oh, after evil bosses, okay. Now, could I have mana stars, please? I understand why I keep asking you guys for stuff when I can just, you know,
Yeah.
I can just cheat it in. I don't know why I'm trying to waste your time. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Blur Frostbolt is also really sick.
Yeah, and then essentially Bridget Flashbolt combines the 2 effects.
Yeah, as you can see here, it goes to specifically where my cursor is aiming. It's not a fixed distance away.
Comet Quasher has a really sick rework as well.
Frigid Flashbolt. Oh yeah, I'd also like to preemptively apologize to any developers who are watching whose weapon will not be showcased here. There's just too many of them.
Yeah, there's also a Sun Spirit staff, which I have right now. repeated summons increase its power, so...
I see, so the lines are like how many summon slots you put into it.
Yeah, it's a scaling minion again.
Hey Felix, do you wanna be in CalCast? Kitty? You wanna be in CalCast? No.
I can post a picture of him if you want to send that.
Sure, I'll send a picture of Felix. They added like a ton of like pet names, I think, from everybody's like own pets, Felix included. Although Felix has always been in there, but I know the devs did that. Everybody loves their pets.
I mean, who doesn't?
Oh yeah, a lot of devs added their pet names to like the town pets.
I wonder if they ever fixed the bug where like it seems like it was extremely rare for the custom pet names to ever actually be added in, or like appear.
I don't think anyone's ever looked into it. So
Because like I know that it's like I've spawned in tons of cats in worlds before, and I've never seen the Meower of Gods.
yeah, no one's ever like looked into the cause of it as far as I'm aware. So
Yeah, and then there's Ceres. I guess there's Orderbringer, which is basically just old Ark of the Cosmos, isn't it?
Yeah.
it functions very similarly. Yes.
Yeah, it's a no-hitter's dream. Back in the day, old Ark of the Cosmos used to be like the no-hitter go-to weapon for no-hitting Escal, because it was very easy to use and not super strong, so you wouldn't have to worry about like going below the minimum no-hit length. But it's been restored. It's like Leatherface, it dons the skin of another dead sword.
Yeah.
That being the Elemental Excalibur, or Iridescent Excalibur. Let's see, there's also the Grand Guardian line, right?
Yes, the Majestic Guard, Grand Guardian, and Earth were all reworked.
Violently heavily blade that rips through enemies with sheer mass. Heals you on hit, interesting.
A funny Easter egg as well is that if you hit Primordial Worm with the Granddad, it plays the hectic boop sound.
Right?
Yeah, it does.
Oh. Shout out to Hectic.
Well, let's test it then, shall we?
Sure!
Alright, Primordial...
I'm gonna put myself on God mode.
Too late. Hey, come back here.
Oh god, that thing got sprited in it. It looks big.
What in the world is that thing doing?
I love this. Surprised it doesn't become, like, docile whenever you do this. Do you just want to keep having Jared here, or...?
Yeah, sure. We can keep Jared around. Oh god, Oliver.
Why isn't this doing any damage then?
Oh, because Primordial Worm's alive, so the target dummies don't have a hit.
Oh.
Oh.
Maybe that's a downside to having Primordial Worm around.
Alright, we should probably, like, there, yeah. Absolute chaos going on around here.
Yeah, I like just the ridiculous amount of gore that Primordial Worm spawns when killed. Pretty heavy hits, especially considering the fact I'm not even wearing any melee armor or anything. Alright, well no, I am wearing melee stuff, but light melee stuff. Same thing, just been going backwards down the crafting tree. Any shards above 10. And seek out enemies, hold right click. Right click to...
Yeah, hold right click to... After a while they will home in on an enemy.
It's, if you get like 10 shards.
The shard showing up for you?
I see
Only one.
I see, okay. A few more spawned.
Okay, yeah, that's multiplayer shenanigans going on.
Yeah, it's multiplayer being multiplayer, I guess.
Multiplayer's kind of weird about the custom sword swing animations for a long time.
This is Meteor Fist. This is one of the reworks that I did for this update. You got a little wire, and then it drops a meteor and stealth strikes.
Bonk. And it shoots out little flaming projectiles like Providence's like main explodey attack.
And then, yeah, if you hit them with the sword, it launches them as flames.
Yeah, so seeing you with Wings of Rebirth just reminded me of a question that I wanted to ask. Like, wasn't Exobox supposed to be, like, re-tiered to be Shadow Spec?
It was discussed, but it wasn't put in for this update. It is something we want to do, though.
Is there any particular reason why you decided to avoid it?
I think just because nobody actually thought to implement it. Genuinely.
Death's Ascension. Oh yeah, there's also this too. So now we can bring home the power of Dog's big laser in Phase 2 laser walls.
A few others got reworked as well. Excelsis, which is now Maw of Infinity, and Deathwind, which is now Threat of Eradication.
Okay. This is left click, then you have the orbital rings. It even opens up a little tear in space-time. That's pretty neat. And then right click is unchanged, I think? This is the same as it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just that the left click got the rift.
You can't spawn multiple of them until the other one, like, yeah, okay, you can't spawn multiple unless the, until the other one goes away. That's it. Is that Purge Guzzler?
Yes, it is. Let's see, what else is there? There's Dazzling Stabber Staff.
I think it's pretty cool how, like, so many of the, weapons, like, that come after each boss are, like, specifically designed after attacks of that boss specifically.
Yes, it's very intentional.
Yeah, instead of just being, oh, it's a sword that has the same color palette. How interesting. I do think these weapon designs are a lot more inspired and a lot better.
Yeah.
To be blunt.
Then let's see, there's Mole Amputator.
That's pretty cool how it's also called Maw of Infinity and it actually has the Devourer's maw. Chomping.
Which this one you can right click to recall the sights, and if you recall it on top of an enemy, it deals a big burst of damage to them.
The Refraction Rotor.
That one was done by Sunny.
Yeah, no longer just a really, really boring boomerang. And it still is Rogue. Yeah, it's still Rogue. So who knows, maybe Rogue actually has a reason to try to go for Thanatos last now?
Okay, that's what Transformer does. Cool. You have to kill enemies or projectiles pass through.
Oh, this is a funny thing.
Here's a bunch of slimes.
Still, like falling sand projectiles can spawn blobs from the Transformer aura.
Generates an aura that creates more than globs of when projectiles pass through when enemies are killed.
That random meteor just...
What was Energy Staff renamed to?
Sanctified Spark. I think it also heals you if you have like a certain number of minion slots.
After firing, emulators will fire one healing bolt at you for every 4 summon slots you have, so yeah.
Let's see your amulet, and then there's also Diamond of the Deep.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Dawnlight Spirit Origin also got reworked, because I know it used to be like really, 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 really bad.
Yes it did. It like gives stacking range crit chance and lets you super crit.
Oh yeah, our boy Mechworm got reworked as well.
And it uses the old Cosmic Guardian Sprite.
Bless.
Recycling. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Here's Old Reaper. Probably get
Alright,
rogue,
with Duke weapons.
probably get rogue armor actually.
There's Fetid Emesis.
Maelstrom of Acid. It's like fuck this one dummy in particular. Oh yeah, the relics got reworked as well, like the ones from the Guardians.
Oh yeah, specific bullets got
so
reworked
there's
as well.
the
The high
Trilogy
period
Viper.
bullet.
Okay, probably shouldn't be leaving the area. Wait, you can go through tiles with this?
What, the Deliverance? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
No,
you can become the burrower yourself.
The Burrower. Let's see, there's also Toxic Twister.
I hope that people aren't expecting this to be like a comprehensive review of every single weapon in Brainstorm, because I mean, there's
a lot of them.
Yeah, we haven't even looked at like 50 to 60 more weapons.
Point is, there's a lot.
All across every stage of the game.
Wait, why are you me now? Congrats.
Oh, that's another thing that they've added that I completely forgot about. The bobbers. Are those new? It took me forever to figure that out. Yeah, let me show you. I just need to cheat in, so I just need to
Hang
cheat
on,
in.
I'm currently in the process of cheating everything.
That should probably be comprehensive enough to... I'd probably make it a little bit wider so you can kind of see what's going on with it. I know some people are really confused about, like, the minigame is a little bit confusing, but once you figure it out, you figure it out. It's a little bit finicky. Oops.
Or it may just be broken in multiplayer.
No, I've managed to do it. You kind of have to tap in the, like, general direction of where it's, like...
I've noticed that movement is also disabled.
Yeah, movement is disabled.
Yeah, it does that so you can use the movement keys for the minigame.
Yeah, that's kind of what I assumed, but it's just worth noting. Also, why did you turn into me? Congrats. Your in-game name is now GP on my screen.
Oh god. I feel like I ran into this bug at some point in development.
That might be why I've been having so many problems. It looks like the feral bobber isn't giving you the fishing minigame in multiplayer. Noticing that.
I'm gonna go back to weapon testing. So there's helium flash got reworked too, right?
Yeah, it's like a charge-up weapon.
No better weapon to represent what happens whenever a star runs out of hydrogen to burn and needs to start fusing helium.
Of course, Venetian Trident also got changed.
Phantasmal Fury. The Calamity accessory also got changed as well, according to this sheet.
And then,
So
to round out the trio, Shadowblade Staff.
Looks like they also fixed that performance problem that this accessory used to cause. What Hellborn.
Ursa Sergeant.
Dragging them towards you.
Maybe I shouldn't use Windblade.
Hey, Hellborn doesn't even need ammo anymore.
Speaking of Hellborn, Hellkite.
Isn't there an attack to like one-shot Ravager with that?
Yeah, holding right-click charges it up. It used to be a lot stronger, I think.
There's my boys, the enchanted knife staff.
Yeah, also War Banner got reworked. What did I do? New War Banner do? All damage based on how close you are to enemies. Just 50.
This is a new one, Amphibian's Guitar.
Is War Banner multiplicative?
Yes.
Okay. I think maybe the tooltip should be changed to reflect that and say like 1.15 times damage and not 15% damage.
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah, and here's the one that was shown, I think.
Quite the hit with loss of screen shake. Is it affected by gravity at all? Is that an arc?
Oh yes, it is gravity. Just like all the other hammers in the line.
Yeah, it's hard to notice because it's just so fast, but yeah, it definitely does have gravity. So you hit 3 times, and when you hit the 4th time, then the...
Still doesn't play sounds in other clients, oh god.
I'm noticing a lot of that, like 1, 2, 3, like motion.
Also, there's a ton of new blocks and furniture items too. Not that we want to show them all up, but
Yeah.
maybe next time I can actually make a build with them.
You haven't even gone to the new Anahita and Leviathan.
Oh yeah, there's a new summon for them. Naiad's Warhorn. I actually have no idea what Naiad is, but it summons Anahita when used in the ocean.
See, the Super Radiant was changed
And I think it just got like a double right click to dash.
What was that? Leviathan?
This Leviathan Teeth. Brackish Flask, which is now white water.
Okay. Oh, Buzzkill. Is it just the same thing, basically?
Oh yeah, Buzzkill's the same.
Okay, 'cause I'm just going based off of that image. You know the one I'm talking about that like lists everything.
The one by Kiri.
Yeah. Shout out to Kiri for making it much easier to showcase this stuff. Yeah, I think we've given a pretty good overview of the weapons in general. What do you guys think? You have anything else you want to show?
Not for me.
Not particularly.
All right, so thanks for tuning in to this episode of CalCast. I hope you were satisfied with our coverage of this, because it's a hell of a lot to cover, and not all of it can easily be shown visually. Yeah, there's a lot of cool weapons now, a lot of cool stuff, and I do highly recommend checking some of them out whenever you're at the respective tiers, or possibly even breaking class just to be able to try out some of the new weapons, because there's a lot of pretty cool stuff going on. And a lot of pretty neat stuff going on for Calamity's future as well. So I hope you all are as excited for it as I personally am. And thank you all for watching, and see you next time. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.